people. This is not a phone app you guys can go home and download. You're not getting it yet.
Okay.
So look at her trying to steal my shit, everybody. You guys see this? Wow. She's like, give it over. Demo first. Let's go through it. So you should be able to see me in there, right? Red, orange, and yellow guy. Right. So I'm going to make the joke. Sorry, fellas, but that means I'm the hottest thing inside the frame right now. There's only 2 of you, and I'm probably quicker than you. But anyway, so that normally slays with the bridal parties that I get, just so you guys know. But I point that out on purpose because we're looking for those cold spots. They're going to be blue and black. That's what we're looking for. I want them to either take shape or to start moving on their own. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. That's what we've caught in the past. That's what hopefully we're going to capture again. Do I get something on this every single night? Not necessarily. If we're not recording, we're not going to find it. So we will be recording while we're in our spaces, and you guys will keep your cameras running through the entire time that we are in a space. So, again, by the time you hit the record button, it's already gone. So with that said, the slower the motion on these guys, the better. But back to the thermal. So there's a blue dot bouncing around your guys' screen when you guys get your video back that is showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops out of this guy in the event that we don't get the full blue apparition person, right? So it is, what did I write down as far as ambient temperature? 47. So I'm going to be looking for 32 degrees and colder. Obviously, that's pretty damn cold. If you guys are mostly from the north, it seems like you guys know what cold is. But yeah, she's laughing. Yes, that's definitely cold. So if you see snow on the ground, yeah, we probably have a ghost. So that's kind of how that works. So this is your start and stop button, the little red orange guy right here. I'm just going to stop. I'll say give your hands a break. Yeah, we're going to get you unmuted for sure. But I am going to keep Toyo and Elizabeth behind so I can teach them more about that EMF meter and what's going on with that. And I'm going to be with everybody else in just a minute. So you crank that thing up and get it listening. So you're really like the highlight of the show right now because that one gives us the most. All right, you two stay with me. The rest of you spread out. Let's do this. Stay within the confines of the lot. People start walking by, don't film them. I know, right? All right, so, man, I normally always give communication devices. I am so sorry. So maybe as the kind of night goes through and we'll see how you guys are doing with things, I'll throw one your way as an extra. But there are extra little bonus things that we're going to be doing later on that I'm definitely going to include the 2 of you in on anyway. Okay. So EMF. So the easiest way to explain this is things around your home. And this will actually help explain what they were doing. With the other device that you had. So your TV is going to give off about 40 to 60 milligauss. That's the unit of measure that we use because that's the blinky light one. I like to keep everything the same. So that way it's all in comparison because I do have 3 different styles of EMF readers. So the average spike for this location is 18 to 22. That's average. And again, that is astronomically high for an outdoor space with no electricity. So just kind of have that idea.
Okay.
Your microwave, when you're standing next to it and it's heating up your food, about 150 to 170.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The highest I've ever seen that device go in my 13 years of ghost hunting, 214 milligauss out of this location.
Oh, wow.
We left.
Okay.
Yeah, I have epilepsy.
Okay.
Too much EMF in the air for this guy.
Okay.
So just so you know, the blinky light one that they hand out, I just gave you some numbers for things around your house.
Yeah.
The blinky light only goes to 25.
Okay.
Do you see where I'm going?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't always use it. This one obviously goes to 200 and beyond. And I was the one that caught the 214. I was explaining to somebody how to use it because I used to use one with an extra function. It actually had a REM pod built into it, so I'd always pull that person aside to show them how the REM pod works. But I took that out because it's almost irrelevant to work with that outside in a very dusty city where it gets windy because you get a lot of false positives. So I downgraded it to upgrade the Tor. Does that make sense? Just so we weren't getting those false positives.
Yes.
But 2.5 and higher, and you're also going to escalate those readings. So if you get a 2.5 and then a 5, that's your new baseline for that space. Don't give me anything below it. You get a 7, that's our new base. And keep it climbing because I write all those numbers down. We don't need a whole notebook full of numbers. If you're getting my point. Especially if we get like a 50 or 60, I'm not going to be writing down 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on that thing and let us know what happens. And as far as you're obviously recording right now, right? Perfect. So just nice slow motions out of those. I do watch those in double time. So that way I can cover more of it. And it's actually easier to find an anomaly from a paranormal camera if you're watching it in double speed.
I'm sure. Yes.
So even with the SLS camera, I watch them in double time. Why is there somebody stopped right in front of this location?
See what we're doing?
I get a lot of like weird looks.
Yes.
Oh, there were cars.
All right, so we're at 6 point. We were at 6.1.
I'll take a 6-1.
I'll watch you walk. I'll walk behind you or beside you or whatever. I want your point of reference. You holler at me if you got something. You got something?
Well, 24.8 it wouldn't at 1.8. Stand in one spot.
If you want to. Or we
See
just
what
go
happens.
slow.
That's really annoying. Was the next highest after that.
You got one?
It was 25.5.
Where?
Right here. It was here and then it went down.
Interesting.
You seen
I
anything?
got nothing. No. I mean, I see some black and blue spots, but they're not like the coldest. They're not cold. And I think they're just like indentations in the ground, you know. And I see why he says not to point it towards the sky, because the sky is gets very, like, I end up with low numbers when it's pointing at the sky. You want to just walk corner to corner?
that corner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's try and figure something out here.
It's been in that, the highest was in that, kind of like right over here. Was at 25.5, was like right over here.
Okay.
I don't know if they'll ever get it back, but.
All right, you two got anything else coming up? Just all the fixtures, expansion, car.
Nothing abnormally cold or hot.
Just crawling today. All right, ladies, what do we got going on?
25.5 was the highest.
Nice. And by the way, what's the relationship here? I never asked.
Oh, we're
Best friends
Okay.
since little girls.
Yeah.
I never try to assume anything anymore.
Yeah.
So, 25.5.
Yep, that was the highest.
Anything in that 18 to 22 range below that that you recall? If not, it's okay.
18 to 22. Yes, there was one. I think there was a. So what was it? 20. There was a 24, and then there was. I don't know. I just remember the
25.
20, 25, 24, because then it was like I remember 24 was the first high one, and then 25.5
Came
was
up
the
right
second.
after it?
Yeah.
And then it probably went down to pretty much nothing?
Yeah, it's been pretty low.
So another full explanation on this, because it went down to nothing, we can count that as something paranormal because it was something man-made and you were too close to an electrical pole. It
Yeah.
would have went like 25, 23, 27,
okay.
20. It would have kind of varied within that range. But
Yeah.
the fact that you went from 25 to
Yep. Yep.
nothing?
Nothing.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's Eliza just sweeping by, seeing who
Okay.
you are.
Okay.
That's all that is.
Interesting.
But again, remember, I've seen 200 in here, so she
Yes.
wasn't too close.
Right.
She was
Right.
just
Right.
close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anything weird on the cam?
No,
Nothing yet?
no. The only time it gets super cold is, like you said, if it's
In
hitting the sky. Yeah.
When I'm watching this portion of the video, just so you know, I'm watching the walls. The
Yes.
walls are going to hang on to the sun's heat from the daytime.
Okay.
So they're going to be warmer. Your ground here is made of mud, rock, gravel, cement, all kinds of weird shit, so it's going to look a lot colder.
Yeah.
You won't necessarily see those cold
Yeah,
spots.
it will hit. It does make cold spots in the depressions.
But if
Your
there's a-
zipper's making a cold
Yeah,
spot.
but if there's a blue dot on that orange wall, it's going to stand out a lot more.
Yeah.
We have had some figures show up here with this location, so just kind of keep that
Okay.
in mind as well. With the cameras, I don't always follow up with this one specifically in real time because it's small,
Yeah.
and I do send it to YouTube. Like I said, I watch it on a computer screen.
Right.
So finding things on a small screen like that, we're getting ready to upgrade that one.
And what do you do? Let YouTubers look and review? or-
Whoever's going to watch it is going to
That's
watch
what I
it.
mean. Oh, okay. I just thought
I leave it
that
open
would
to the
save
public.
that would save a lot of time from you having to sit and watch
Oh,
hours
no,
of
no.
footage.
I actually prefer to be the guy to watch it.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Gotcha.
I love doing that research when
Yeah.
I'm going through it.
Yes.
So communication is always key with me first.
Yes.
Because obviously being a wordsmith, like that's where I get my guts from this.
Yeah.
So if I find something complimentary, because we did have something show up on the word list so far, they are hearing a few minor things coming up. Nothing like substantial where I'm like concrete, that's definitely, ghost work activity. But at the same time, if we get that, you had your 25, we get something on the camera, you can't deny
Right.
all of those little things that
Right.
occurred that was just a weaker night, but we did get some kind of connection.
Yes.
So that's how this works. All right. Anything else, baby? Kind of see what you got going on. You can stop your camera.
Okay.
Philadelphia Alley. This is where they were
Oh,
dueling. Remember?
yes.
Yeah, this is their favorite duel here.
So I'm really gonna hang back here. See if I get anything.
Shanna, what'd you hear along the way? Were you listening? Okay, so we got nothing to go off of.
I had there was a 35 when we were walking through.
So I meant to tell you, ignore your readings on the streets.
Okay.
Our parking meter
Okay.
stuff is underneath the sidewalk.
Okay.
And our crosswalk stuff is underneath there. So you're going to have an extra job while we're here.
Okay.
We need to make this a little bit more exciting for you. And you guys said you've seen the voice recorders at the other tours that you guys used. Nothing like this.
Okay.
So, and you'll see why we're using this as we're kind of going through here. If you have a camera, by all means, get the thing started. And Matt, you can hold it exactly as you were, like a suitcase.
Yeah.
So that way, in case other tours are going to come through here, we're not looking so YouTubers kind of mentality. So this voice recorder is brand new. So I've only been using it for about a month or so. You're going to have a set of headphones on because this thing can hear a frog fart from 3 miles away.
Okay.
And you're going to basically just listen intently, and you'll see exactly why as we kind of go through the history of why we're here. And we're going to record the entire session. I will listen to the entire recording because we're only going to be here for probably 7 or 8 minutes.
Okay.
This is the location, by the way, everybody, that I'm taking out this year, simply because every ghost tour comes down here. Again, I don't like to do the cliches and tropes, but I still keep getting a shit ton of evidence from this guy. It's hard to break away and get this guy out of here. So if the new location doesn't necessarily work out for me, this will be kind of like a backup reserve to keep it in. And I may not change it for next year. So keep that in mind. So with this, slide those over your ears. Elizabeth, you may have to help her out. Taking
got
this
it?
camera.
Okay.
And then you're just going to keep this guy in, and you're going to either hold this. Should be pretty intense. So just, it's heavy. And then you can take the camera, or she can hang on to that, either way. When I say that voice recorder is intense, she can hear everything. She can hear an ant walking in the bristle behind her. So you'll see why you're using it here in just a moment. Every ghost tour comes down here. We all tell the same story. I'm going to give you a few extra different details because we're ghost hunting. It's not a campfire marshmallow kind of ghost tour, right? So here's how this goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that Anna hears the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it's not coincidence. It's part of his name. We get it all the time. But anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow she just got. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. He comes here to Charleston to prove that he's not just after her money. On his way into town, though, the coachman he had set him up to be robbed and killed. It's kind of like having a bad Uber driver, right? So somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. The guy walking by we're going to stop there for a second. His name is Ralph Isaacs. I stopped on Ralph simply because he had the same initials as where the doctor came from, Rhode Island. So we get the letters RI all the time on devices like Anna's, but that's the exact reason why I bought the Ouija board device. I wanted to make sure we were getting the letters RI specifically because there's not many words that actually have that in their spelling. Victorious would be one of them, to kind of give you an idea. But we have gotten letters RI in the past year that have had that, maybe about half a dozen times whenever I bring up Ralph's name. So you're literally looking for the letters RI in that order. Back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street. And you can rent a room from these friends of mine. And you'll be safe and good to go. Doc took him up on the offer. Now, these two gentlemen become friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. She gets wind of this. She's coming down so they can be married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. Yes, the very cliched whistling ghost. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit is going to have one of those. Ours just happens to be a doctor. We do get whistles down here, which is exactly what Toyo has a set of earphones on, listening to everything. Hopefully we're going to get whistles. Every ghost tour tells you to listen for those whistles while you're down here. I'll talk more about that as we kind of go through this, but we're looking to capture it in real time. But we're also running 2 video cameras right now, plus my voice recorder that's on my bag. It's not as intense as that one, but hopefully we'll get something on one of those things. Back to Dr. Ladd and Ralph. They go see plays together, but they cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. So they have to talk about these plays on the way home. They're talking about Richard III one night and one of the actresses that was in the play. Dr. Ladd thought this new actress was great. Ralph didn't. They start arguing, and then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. It gets really ugly, and they go their separate ways. Now, Ralph has friends around town, as I've already told you. He goes to his friends at the newspaper and tells them to place an ad telling the whole city what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit, right? Doc saw this ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Welcome to Dueler's Alley, everybody. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So, I say some because it was illegal, but this is where the doc challenged Ralph to come. So they came down here, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, but the doc pointed his gun in the air and shot his one shot. He didn't want to kill his friend, he just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. Ralph, however, has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc doesn't die, falls to the ground, his friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out 2 things. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than what we know of them now. Secondly, he's a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but he failed, obviously because he died. And I told you every ghost tour comes down here and tells you to listen for those whistles. We're doing that mechanically. However, our spirit boxes, like Anna's, will also give us whistling parts of a song with the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. Dozens upon dozens of times this has happened to me in the 4 years I've been coming here. So it's almost like a doctor. We get it all the time. I know it sounds funny, but we get it. We'll also get numbers like 59. We get the doctor's birthday down here a lot as well. And it's not even near his birthday, but we get it all the time. It's just a weird thing that we get. So we do get a lot of weird things. If you're going to try this on your own and walk through here with the voice recorders from your phone, just keep in mind that every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street, the street we came in on, or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley every single time we walk past. I do it every single morning. Well, I used to anyway. My garage used to be over here above that little convenience store, but my office is this way. So about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm walking back to my car. And again, I do it every single night. But I don't park over there anymore, so I can't throw my whistles. That's why I'm throwing them in there now. But keep in mind, I've actually been thrown out of here. I used to throw them down here all the time when there was other tours down here, just to kind of mess with them. Let's talk about how I got thrown out of here. That's the fun part of the story. This alley didn't go all the way through that way. There was a wall up there. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock. It was in Charleston. This used to be called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. Yeah, kind of a weird thing. Imagine a bunch of cows and chickens down here and then a bunch of men down here trying to kill each other with 1-bullet guns. However, that means the bricks on the other side, those are older than the ones you're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children down on the other end. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there with fingerprint swipes and others. When I first started doing tours, I used to take my groups all the way through. And I would take them down there to show them that brick for a history lesson, nothing paranormal about it. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. The kid's not there. That's the last place you're going to find them. So, one night, November 26th of 2020, I had my entire group of 10 are huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen with the gear I passed out. I know nothing's going to happen. I'm trying to shoo them along because I'm also trying to be respectful to the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. We're outside his dining room window. He came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because her dad's getting yelled at while he's at work, and she thought it was awesome. But anyway, we moved along. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I worked in retail management for Walmart for over 10 years, upper management, and you guys like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving. So I've been scarred for life. Thank you for that. So I don't do Thanksgiving anymore. The next day was the 28th. The date's irrelevant. I called my partner that I had at the time. I told him what happened with the owner of the mansion. He laughed at me just like my daughter did, and he said, "Dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway. Otherwise, you got to reroute your group." So I told my group that night, I don't believe in the next story because I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. Obviously, we're discussing pirates next. So we'll see what happens as we kind of go up and around there. Now, before we left, somebody with a spirit box, here's the name Anne. Ironically, her name is Anne. So I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating, the famous female pirate Anne Bonny. I was like, well, shit, maybe we're going to get something. We get up and around the corner. I told them a little bit I did know about piracy, which wasn't much because, again, a couple of hours to do some quick research on a lot of pirates. Somebody else here's the number 300 on their spirit box. I don't know what that one means. I write it down. I do the research. Turns out we were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. The exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. Now I'm getting a lot of surprised looks, which is the common reaction that I normally get. I was actually pissed off. Let me explain. I have a master's degree in creative writing. Yes, I write a lot of fiction. When I'm doing this, I need facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, which was written 100 years after the Golden Age of piracy. It is very hard to find facts and data from the Golden Age of piracy. I've read more books on pirates than you guys ever wanted to in your entire lives combined. I've watched more documentaries, played video games, got as many versions of this story as I possibly could to make sure like what we're doing over there is legitimate. So we do get a lot over there, but it is a 50-50 roll of the dice if she'll be there at the same time that we are. I'll explain once we get into that space. Have you heard anything crazy come out of there that you can think of? Any words that we need to know about from your word
We
list?
had church.
Oh, we're near the biggest church, and we're about to go to Church Street.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
that's
I've seen willingness,
Oak.
hope, therefore I've seen, survey I've seen.
Okay. Church so far is the only one that's relevant, not to mention the doctor lived on Church Street. So hopefully the number 59 showed up for Anna, and we have the full address. That would be super awesome. Like, I'd be super stoked about that. So were you listening at all, or were you focused on me?
A little bit both.
Okay. Wow, that's talent, because most people can't do that. I talk fast, and so does that. So what did you get out of it?
I haven't really heard anything wrong.
We're nothing good. Any readings coming out of that? I would normally, by the way, I forgot to tell you, like in here, I would expect something above a 7, just because our lampposts are going to give off some EMF. We're close proximity to that. So I usually tell people your baseline here is not a 2.5, it's that 7. But where we're going, I'm actually excited about a 2.5 because we don't normally get a whole lot of EMF readings over there. So I'll go through that as we kind of get into the picture. So where's your voice recorder at? When you kind of see that, we're going to go ahead and stop that recording at this point. And we're going to use this again later. Go ahead and take off those earbuds or those headphones. Sorry, we used to use earbuds with everything.
Yes.
So how's your hearing now? Kind of sucks,
It's
doesn't
nice.
it?
It's nice and calm now, right now.
I'm telling you, this thing is super intense. Once we use this at the next location, not the next one, but the new location, I'll let you guys like pass it around to whoever is comfortable with putting these on for a few minutes, just kind of give you a test market of like what this guy actually does. It's pretty crazy. So you guys ready to learn about some rated R pirates?
Yes.
All right. Nobody got my dad joke. Wow, that's crazy. Before we leave the space, the gate behind me, there's a reason why I stopped here, and I always forget to tell you guys this, and it sucks because I'm going to be leaving this space. By the way, this is one of the most picturesque places we have in all of Charleston, day or night. So if you're a picture taker, this is the place to be. But the gate. Remember I told you that the alley didn't go all the way through that way? So if there was a loser to the duel, the dead guy, this was a shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall. Otherwise, they're carrying the dead weight, like my bag, all the way down to Queen Street and then doubling back with that dead body before they can go celebrate the winner. The wrought iron gate was probably put here in the early 1900s, but you can see that the archway right above it was part of the original wall. So I just like to point that out because not a whole lot of people know why this gate is here. It's not an easement now. Like, again, there's a lot of laws with boundaries and that kind of thing. But there's a reason why that wrought iron gate is there because this belongs to the city, that belongs to the church. So they had to separate between the city and the church. So that's why it's there. All right, now we're ready to go learn about Radar Pirates. Definitely keep an eye on your word list and your listening. And Jack, definitely unmute as we kind of exit the space. Video cameras, if you want to continue recording along the way, you can. Otherwise, go ahead and stop them and get your hands free. You're not holding your head like a suitcase anyway, so he's all good to go. Did I screw up anybody's name yet, by the way? Nope. All right, good. I was off yesterday, so it sounded like a, all right, I got to get my name game back on.
I'm supposed to ignore
The
anything.
street lights.
Yeah, just looking at the parking meters.
Sorry. I'm like watching and walking at the same time.
Could be dangerous.
Yes. I will say this is more fun being interactive. Yeah.
Missed it. Damn it. Anna, what do you get?
5 Europe, 20 church bells.
5, 20, Europe, and church bells. I like it. How's our word list?
Pursuit and chocolate.
The pursuit of chocolate.
It's me.
I like that. I just heard 5. It's hard to hear.
First.
It's not an easy job.
First.
Interesting. I'm waiting for the number 9 to show up, and then we have the dude's address. Okay, you guys gave me 2 5s. Between the two of you. Remember, we're going to be getting bleed over from from Dr. Ladd as well. All right, so
Oh,
interesting. It says hell, in case anybody was wondering. I will tell you, that stupid word list. So I've never seen like curse words on there before. And one of the first tours that I did where it was, we'll just say, retired group, so to speak, mainly women, I hand that out because it's a nice, easy one to use. And the F-bomb shows up as one of the first words that's on there. But that woman was so pissed from the entire night. I'm like, oh. And luckily enough, I could just hit the little red X and take it out of there. Didn't mean anything. It was just, like, of course, they had to be the one night. So this location, again, remember, I am excited about 2.5s.
Okay.
The closer you get to that side of the lot, once we spread out, we do have parking meters over there and 2 electrical poles in the corners. So don't get excited between like a 2 to a 7. It's normally on the back half where we're standing. Other tours come through here and tell you about the little tiny building in the front. We're going to be looking at it, but in a much different light. So let's go ahead and get you on mute, Jack. So that is the gunpowder magazine. So that held gunpowder for 7 different wars, and those are not crosses on the building. So those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with what an earthquake bolt is, it's basically a turnbuckle. It looks like that just like on the other side. If we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, you can turn those turnbuckles and it'll tighten the building up so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So it's part of the reason why we're here. You guys have seen those earthquake bolts all over town, by the way. Even the apartment building, the brick building, also has them on every single floor. So it's just part of our Charleston charm. You guys see it all over, like with lion heads and pineapples and all kinds of Charleston charm bullshit, right? With those big crosses on there, that's the first set of earthquake bolts. Didn't you just get the word first?
Yeah.
That's so. First set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. Reason why, that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We're here because of that reason. This building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny came here to start her new life. This is what I call a familiar. Most of you watch the TV shows, you've seen that Boo Buddy, right? That's the little teddy bear where they have the EMF meter inside of it, so if a child ghost gets near it, it goes off where it says, hey, that tickles, you know, because that's the way they have it set up. They do that so the child would recognize it as a toy. Think of that concept with this building. We don't have many buildings this old where Anne would actually recognize it. So that's why it's a 50-50 roll of the dice if she'll be here at the same time that we are. However, her story is super interesting anyway. So, follow me on this one. There's a lot of twists. I will slow down on the twist. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building? 10 years? No,
Yes.
not at all. Sorry, I was trying to be nice and answer for you. It's like, damn right it does. But anyway, and I actually had an FBI agent on my group one night, and he's like, can you stop making cracks about the government, dude? I'm like, no, I can't. Sorry. But anyway, 1708 is where our history begins. A young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. You guys with me so far? The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed off was she that she kicked them out of the damn country by boat? There's no planes yet, guys. So again, I just like to point that out. The three of them landed in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation up there, and then Mom died pretty quickly thereafter. So that kind of tells you, now Dad has to send young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from the plantation to help keep things afloat. Now, we're going to take a step backwards to Ireland for just a second to give you the mentality of this young lady through the rest of her history. When she was 7, 8, 9 years old, remember this is pirate lore, nothing is exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. I can't tell you how many times we've had servant, knife, and belly show up on 3 different spirit box communication devices, and the other 2 people don't know what's going on. It happens all the time. Fast forward, the building's done in 13, but by 1715, pirates are coming through town. Anne is stoked. Reason why, she's going to fall in love with one of these guys so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world at this point. First guy she falls in love with, and I say it that way because there's a handful, that's what makes the story so damn good, we're going to cover them all. First guy is James Bonny. You already know where this one's going. I told you her pirate name already. Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica, they got married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name came from. However, when they get down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which means he's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2, John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. Sorry, I had to look straight at you when I said that one. But anyway, this is the guy that they based your Johnny Depp character off of, just so you guys know who this guy is. Now, Jack has his own ship, he has his own crew. You cannot put a female on a pirate crew. Do you know why? Look at the awkward faces I got coming at me. It's bad luck. I get some really nasty answers to that question. I usually throw it back at you guys every single night. It's fun. But anyway, it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. You dress like a guy and look like my crew, you can be part of the crew. But you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home, as a boy apprentice, to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. She's a pirate now. She's excited. But she's also a female in his quarters. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl, right? Then they're going to get rid of Jack as captain. So before she starts to show her pregnancy, he drops her off in Cuba. Have the baby here, come back later, we'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, but returns without a child. We have no idea what happened to that baby, and none of my research ever discovered it. Again, lots of pirate books, guys. She also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. To make him even more pissed off, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Now, Mary and Anne became lovers. We know for sure companions. Because of the time frame, we're never really going to know for sure. But the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only two pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with one bullet flintlocks. Obviously, two ladies with one bullet guns are not going to take on a whole fleet of Navy ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain and beau, Calico Jack, and she says, "Sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up all the time. Now, the judge wants to see the two quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight, so they're dead and gone. The two ladies come up in front of the judge, reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. He's still going to hang them. They're still pirates. "We plead our bellies," was what they shouted to him, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries, that's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary, we don't really know for sure. She has 4 children, dies at the age of 84. Older than Eliza Pinckney, no less. Same time frame. Time period, I should point out. Mary Read died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books would tell you that it was fever. I'm going to say make it romantic. Call it scurvy. Why the hell not? Here's what I left out of the story, because I'm not going to assign questions here. I just left out a few things on purpose, so at least you had something to work with. You can ask whatever the hell you want to in here. This is not a prominent English woman. So again, poke the bear on this one. I'm perfectly fine with it. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I left out the name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland, the name of Calico Jack's ship, and the color of her hair. Everything else is fair game. Ask whatever you want to. Remember, there are certain things I cannot prove, like what happened to that child in Cuba. If you get a direct answer, it's personal to you only. I cannot prove it either way. So, we are going to spread out in this location. I've already warned Elizabeth about the EMF readings. We're definitely going to get you unmuted. Anything we need to know about from the two of you?
I have the word men.
Men? Oh, it's spelled out? Nice. Anything spelled out with 3 or more letters, I'm excited. You guys feel my excitement right now? Matt, do you feel the excitement too? He's like, man, this guy Chad's like,
I'm stoked.
This is stoked, yeah.
Also, I had stomach and pass.
on the word list.
Yes.
Nice.
I was like,
Told you. Can't make this shit up, guys. I don't have to write down stomach on there because it already does it for me. But men have, yeah.
men.
Which means we probably have.
I got 12 divorce. Call your pastor for help.
Chased.
All right, so divorce 12.
Yeah.
Call pastor.
Divorce actually shut up when he said it was her second marriage.
Oh.
And then divorce came over the thing.
She would have had to get a divorce unless, of course, James was dead. There's no record of it, at least accurate records to show that he was dead. So she could have remarried,
Okay.
but she may have had to have divorced him. I don't know for certain. And she never did marry Calico Jack. He was just a beau. So again, take that for what it's worth. She was a little on the crazy side, right? But that's what was so great about her story. Any numbers coming up out of there yet? Okay. So again, test things. Go near the lampposts. Kind of see where things are going.
Yep.
So Matt, this wall behind me is not our friend. Anything that leaves is going to show like all kinds of craziness. As I'm sure you already figured that out. But yeah, let's get those record buttons going and let's get spread out. Let's see what we can find in this little
All right.
I'm gonna walk. I guess I'm just gonna walk.
Okay.
city where she grew up. So, did you guys want to try a spirit box between the two of you?
Yeah.
I mean, I have an extra one like what Anna's using.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of call it on the thermal for a little bit because
Sure.
the next to 2 locations don't always give us the best footage anyway.
Yeah.
But this way you guys can actually experiment. Let's go over here by this box so
Okay.
I can hold it up. You got the gist of like how to listen to it, right?
Yes.
This one doesn't record, and I do that on purpose so that way I'm not giving out too much of a
Oh,
recording for you
okay.
guys. I'm going to rely on you guys for whatever you're hearing in real time so I can put it in the notes.
Okay.
See what's going on with this. And you are familiar with the Estes method.
I am. Like, I've heard him speak. I've watched them, use the box.
Uh-huh.
And it's interesting. I still don't quite get what's going on. Like, I get that the things. Oh, It's when, just because I've seen so many different things. So when someone's got the blindfold on, they're only saying what they hear.
Correct.
It's the other person
It's asking
the questions. Yes.
There's actually an additive to that we're going to be doing tonight.
Oh,
So
okay.
let's swap. So
Okay.
your volume.
This?
Yep.
Okay. Put these on.